Hello, everyone, and welcome to Collector Cast. I'm Johnny. You might know me from Wrestle HQ. You might not, but here I am. We are here, episode 1, the Collector Cast. Very exciting. I'm here with Sean. Hello, Sean.
Hello.
And Nick. Hello, Nick.
You all right?
Hi, guys. Yeah, so we are basically here just to talk about wrestling figures. We are massively passionate about it, and we just thought we'd bring something new to the table, something that's not really been done before, certainly not in the UK, and we want to involve all of you guys watching as well. So it's a podcast, it's a YouTube series especially designed for showcasing your collections, celebrating the community, and just having a laugh alongside it as well. It's been a pretty tough couple of years. I've noticed that in the wrestling figure groups and in the community, it's starting to get a little bit toxic and a bit kind of so I thought, let's start something and bring some joy back to collecting these awesome figures. So that's why we're here. The reason that I've dragged these two guys along with me, kicking and screaming, I might add, but it's really great to have you. Listen, these two have got awesome collections. They've been doing it a long time. They know a lot more than I do, and it's just great to have them on board. So, yeah, I'll just introduce you as you are. Nick, what got you started in all of this?
It's been a long journey, man, to be fair. I mean, you can obviously see behind me, I've got a lot of stuff, and the love for me started with the Hasbros, which I'm sure for many of us probably did. The long story short of it is when I was young and naive at about 23, many moons ago, I sold all my Hasbros, had the whole collection stupidly, and was like, I want to get laid. I'm not doing wrestling toys anymore. I'm going to do something different. And yeah, basically just got rid of them all. And then there was a time where the Jack stuff started happening, the R3s and stuff like that. And at that point, I was like, oh, cool. I got a couple of sort of carded figures. And then I can vividly remember being at Comic-Con with a guy called Liam Tynan, who's still a close friend of mine. We was going past another seller's stand, and I saw the Brown Mankind figure from the Elite line, and I was already kind of toying with Elites. I'd kind of dabbled with maybe getting some CM Punks and stuff like that. And I said to him, like, if I buy one of these, I'm going to start a collection. And so if I buy one, this is going to be a long-term thing. And I walked away from the stand, and I was like, I'm not buying it, because I know if I buy one, I'm gonna be this deep. And by the end of the day, I had that figure in my bag. And then from there, it's just escalated. And yeah,
really, I wouldn't be able to tell.
I've got a whole room of black dedicated to this, right? And it's just escalated from there, and it's progressed through to where it is now. So that's kind of where I am. But it's at an evolutionary stage now, where, as we'll get into later, I'm kind of in a bit of a dilemma with my collection, which we'll go into later on.
Yeah, we'll get into that. What about you, Sean? Where did you start with all this?
Mine's actually a very, very similar path. So start with the Hasbros as a boy. I had a spoiled childhood, so I think that's probably what set me off for this sort of collector must have everything phase, because I remember getting all Hasbros. And then as Nick says, into the bone crunching, into the R3, into the ruthless aggression, into the Mattel contract. I think I've had at some point pretty much all of them.
Jack's Classics as well, right?
Mine's, sorry, Nick?
You had the Jack's Classics as well, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah, I had all the classics. I mean, I'm a completionist, in case you can't see. So if you have one, exactly like you've got to have them all. And I knew when I got back into this collection, it would be, I had to have them all. So mine was a very, very similar story. Mine was Gold Dust, actually, my first Mattel that got me back into this. In Smith's Toys, I think they had the Medusa for a tenner, and I was like, oh, no, don't do it, Sean. Don't do it. I think you have to do that as a collector. Don't do it, because you know what it's going to lead to. And like you say, by the end of the day, Gold Dust was in my shopping basket, and that was it. There was no looking back.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope. I believe there's a duffel bag. Is there not a duffel bag involved with your first figures, Sean? Hiding
yes,
duffel bag?
Yeah.
Billy Jim kit.
No, there was actually a duffel bag. So I'd obviously met my wife, and I didn't have any figures, and she didn't really know about this sort of secret sordid past of having all of these wrestling figures. So I sort of snuck Gold Dust, and I think on the same day I'd also bought the Nasty Boys and IRS, and they were all coming out around that same sort of time, and I was like, she can't see these. So there was indeed a duffel bag with 4 figures in under my bed, and I'll hide them and break them out when she's least expecting it. Not sure how many duffel bags this lot would take now, but she's a little bit more accepting now.
Yeah,
Thanks,
so for me, I guess I'll just quickly introduce myself for anyone that doesn't know who I am. I'm Johnny. I run WrestleHQ/superpowertoys.co.uk, sell wrestling stuff. So go check out the website if you feel so inclined. For me, I got into wrestling figures right around the Jax era. I remember going into Woolworths and buying those finishing move figures. It's so awful, but I love them. And I'm thinking about getting those back, So then maybe that'll be a series following me trying to find all those.
They're in like the weird poses where they were doing like a pedigree, but they had like static hair.
Yeah. When Undertaker and Kane were in a bit of a compromising position as well, I believe in there. But
I think they were all in compromising positions.
Yeah, someone was having a laugh when they were doing that. But yeah, I just love that. Yeah, so that got me into it. Having said that, I think my first figure was a Kurgan. I don't know why I ended up with that being my first figure. I think it was in Boys. Does anyone remember Boys? Is that still a store? Yeah. But yeah, I think I got a Kurgan from Boys because it was probably the only wrestling figure they had at the time. So yeah. But yeah, now I've got a business selling the stuff. I collect everything but wrestling at the moment just because I see wrestling stuff. I get everything anywhere. Got a stock room full of it next door. So I've got Power Rangers, Batman stuff. But I am going to be starting a wrestling collection on this podcast, on this YouTube series. So yeah, we'll be following that along as well. So yeah, that's us three, Johnny, Nick, and Sean. Let's just jump right into it. Next section is figure news. Let's go. Okay, so figure news. Here we are. First section of figure news. It's not a great one this week, have to admit. There's no breaking stories or anything like that. But the Ultimate Editions from Amazon seem to be shipping. The Ultimate Warrior, pretty cool. What do we all think about those? Is anyone looking forward to those, or are we kind of like it's another orange Trunks Warrior? How are we feeling?
I've ordered mine. I mean, it's my Triple H is actually showing that it's going to be coming next week, not Warrior, which is weird. Even though I bought them on the same day.
Yeah, mine. Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on with Amazon. I don't know whether we'll get the Warriors or not. But I've noticed some people in America have started getting them. The Triple H, mine's been saying it's coming tomorrow, and then all of a sudden, like, do you still want this? We're going to cancel your order. It's not coming until 2029 or something like that. I don't know what they're doing, but yeah, the Ultimate Warrior I think is going to be the one that lands first. I've noticed some people have started picking that up. Not massively excited about it. It seems like we've had that Warrior a few times already.
It's the third time, right, Sean?
Yeah, I think so. Obviously, everybody's done that one as well. I get it. It's a really iconic attire. You know, it was from a big match. I think everyone would recognise it instantly. But like you say, it's been done. I think if it was the first time it had been done by Mattel as an Ultimate, I think fair dues. But you know, we'll all still get it, won't we?
Because that's what I was going to say. We're going to complain about it, but we'll all have it. Yeah,
we'll
take one of those. Yeah. Probably take two of those. But yeah, but speaking of Ultimate Editions, just landed here at WrestleHQ, superpowertoys.co.uk, WrestleHQ.com. Whichever one you want to use, takes you to the same place. The Fiend and Alexa Bliss. I don't know if we want to talk about The Fiend. Maybe we'll save that for another episode, compare it with the other one. That'll probably take about 5 minutes. But yeah, these are here. They're in stock. By the time this video goes out, they'll be available on the website. Pre-orders will already be in your hands. So yeah, awesome. The Alexa is really, really cool. But we'll save that for another video. Maybe do a review of those. I guess the other big news has been Legends 13 has landed in the UK. There you go, Sean. Sean's got them there. Nick, you got yours? Yeah.
Awesome.
Oh yeah, battered box Triple H. Yeah, what do we all think about Legends 13 then? Good series, solid, rubbish.
I mean, how many more Jakes do we need, right? I think we
Jake the Snake in it. Yeah, that's going to be the talking point. I think it's how many Jakes. Don't get me wrong, the ones in this series I personally like, but I mean, it's another Jake, another Chase as well. Jake. I mean,
yeah, I was surprised by that. I think it's a solid set. Look, we're never going to get 4-5 characters from every series as absolute headliners, are we? We're always going to have to throw Bob Orton in there. But I think it's pretty solid. If it keeps the series going and it keeps them churning out legends, and every so often we get one, one of the ones that everyone's waiting for, I think it's worth going. I think it's pretty solid. I like what they've done with the DX. I like the DX Army. That it's obvious that we're going to get X-Pac in one of the series. I think he's sort of been named. I don't know if it's official, is it? But
I wouldn't like to comment on that.
Okay,
yeah.
So we might get an X-Pack.
We might. I mean, we might.
Okay.
Yeah. So we've got the Jake and the Jake Chase. The Jake is from, I believe, now this is before my time, I have to admit. But it's 91, 92 heel against Macho Man from my reading.
This one I'm not sure about.
I think it's WCW, isn't it?
That WCW. I thought it was. Yeah, I was never WCW guy, so my knowledge is scarce there. But yeah, I think this is the one we'd all recognise.
Yeah, it's iconic, isn't it? I've got it in box here. Again, available on the website, guys. Go check it out. The attire here is really cool. I really like the trunk, the tights. Really pops. It's the same as the original Legend series, though, isn't it?
No, he wore black in that. So you've now got black with flames and blue with flames.
Oh, okay. See, now that's why you guys are here. See, So I like the Jakes. Obviously, we had the Jake in the series. I want to say 7, 8, 7.
I think it's 7
recently.
Yeah. So we had the Chase in that as well, with the burgundy tights and the green tights as well. Different face scan. I think it's from when he was younger. The earlier one.
Yeah.
So Jake's galore.
I think that's pretty cool though, because for me, if you've got guys who change their attire so much, Rick Rude comes to mind. You know, he wore a different pair of tights almost every time, didn't he? I think if they can fill out these series with all these iconic attires, I really don't mind that. I think that's pretty cool, actually. We don't want Austin every series, do we? We don't want the guys in the boring trunks with the boring looks. But Hurricane again is another one that maybe you could argue, did we really need another Hurricane? But for me, that sort of completes the set, because I think we've got the full look. I think the only one would maybe be his first one with the darker green, but I think it's cool.
It's different enough. It's different enough from his Elite 75, I think, isn't it?
The thing that threw me up with the Hurricane is that the chest piece in the Mattel proto photos and the proto photos they put up on ringside, the chest cape piece looked really, really bad. But in person, I don't know if they did like anything to change it, but in person, the actual chest piece is correctly scaled. But in the proto, it looked massive. So to have it in hand and actually see it like that I still feel that the soft goods in some of the figures could be a lot better, and they've progressively got cheaper in places. But I think for what it is, it's actually really cool.
Yeah,
I'd agree.
It's very, the in word at the moment with all toy collectors is toyetic. I think Hurricane is toyetic. I think it's a great figure. I do. I think it's a great figure. Whether many people will want it, I'm not sure, but I think it's pretty solid. I think again with the soft goods as well. I always prefer when they've got soft goods with them. They just look better. They look more realistic, in my opinion. Have they done a great job with that Hurricane cape? Probably could be a bit better, but I'm pretty happy with it. I've got the 75 here for comparison as well. Obviously, they're completely different attires, but Hurricane.
I think on the soft goods as well, it's worth noting how many people do you think are going to buy two Triple H, two Billy Gunn, exactly. I've got them both here because for people like ourselves, I know Nick, you'll be the same. You want one in his DX attire, but then you'll obviously want one in his wrestling gear as well. So I think it's pretty smart going to Mattel actually, but two birds, one stone and all that.
Yeah.
But how do you feel about the fact that with the Triple H, if you look at him when he's got his little helmet on, it looks really good, and then you take it off and he's got an egghead? What's your thoughts on that in person now you've got it next to you? Because I was a bit like,
I haven't opened mine yet, so
right.
I think I'll leave the helmet on that.
It's an interesting head, yeah. Are you going to change the head on your Lucy with the green attire? Are you going to do any mods to that or anything? Do you think you'll change it?
Maybe. I mean, to be fair, the new arms on the Elites, the shoulders, I'm not a major fan of. Well, I'm going to see how they sort of go, how they progress, because I know obviously they'll have different shoulders for different arms. It looks a little bit like everyone will remember Rhino. Remember the Rhino with the massive shoulders? This just looks a little bit bulky for me, a little bit odd compared to what we used to. But no, I think it's all right. I think it's a good solid figure, to be fair. Again, it's iconic. I like it.
Okay, so what others have we got in that set then? We've got the Bob Orton, we haven't really mentioned. Bob Orton, boxing gloves, Mr. T match, was it? Late 80s, 89, something like that.
Is it a Mania match? I believe so.
I think Mr. T fought Orton first on his sort of,
and then he fought Piper, didn't he? Mania.
I think it was. again, it's a cool figure. If you haven't had a chance to pick up the the 2-pack Legends that was with paper, if you haven't had a chance to pick that up or it's been difficult to get hold of, I think it's
Nice
pretty good.
one.
It's solid. Again, if we're being really critical, the torso isn't big enough for the likes of Orton. I mean, I remember him being a big tall guy, and this is like a little cruiserweight torso style. But again, it's pretty solid. It's got the soft goods. It's a nice touch to actually have the cast on there rather than painted on like the Legends had. But yeah, as far as Bob Orton goes, I think it's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's another Bob Orton, Sean. I think I've tried. I had a loose Bob Orton that I tried to sell you for a good 2 years, and you just weren't having any of it. And now
it didn't even come with the hat or anything.
I didn't even have the accessories.
A loose Bob Orton.
You used to come and raid through the loose drawers here at HQ, and that Bob Orton was just there, sad and lonely for a long time. Yeah. So who else? Who have we missed from that set?
I think that's it.
No, that's them all.
That's them all, is it? Sure.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, of course. Why am I? Yeah.
4 in the chase.
Yeah, there's 4 in the series.
4 in the chase. Yeah. So overall, out of 10, what would you rate the series?
Oh, good question. I think it's pretty solid. I'd give that a 7 or 8 for me. I think so.
Strong 7.
Yeah, I'd say solid 8 for me. It's good. It's a good set. Great. Okay, on to the next section. Let's go. Okay, so welcome to the Hall of Fame, our inaugural ceremony. We need some music and stuff in the background of this. Yeah. Let's see if I can. So we're going to induct our first ever inductee into the Collector Cast Hall of Fame. Basically, again, showcasing your deliveries. This is the first ever one. So in the group, we just asked for a picture of a recent delivery or a cool delivery that you've ever had. And there was loads and loads of cool stuff to choose from. Loads of honorable mentions. Some people with massive deliveries from all over the place. Some stuff that I packed myself and sent to you guys. So appreciate you shout outs on those ones as well. But yeah, we've gone for one this week that we think, well, we've given this guy a bit of a hard time on this episode. Also, I thought this was a really cool delivery. It was just before the Rumble as well, where he was having a match with his wife, and it goes to Mr. Stuart Woodmansey. He got a delivery of a signed Decade of Domination Beth Phoenix and a signed Edge Funko Pop, both in lovely gold pen. Put a picture of it up there for you. So well done to Stuart. Awesome delivery, mate. Congratulations. And there you go, our first ever inductee into the Hall of Fame. Congratulations.
I wonder if he went and literally knocked on their door and was like, here, will he sign these for me?
It seems unlikely.
Yeah, well, you never know. Might have done.
It seems unlikely, but you got them delivered just before the Royal Rumble. It was almost like figure fate. Yeah, I'm not going to... I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. That's from another wrestling podcast you may have heard of. Yeah, so the first inductee is Stuart. Well done, mate. Congratulations. Well, awesome delivery. Listen, there was some great comments. There was some awesome stuff in that in the comment thread. It was massively difficult to pick one person, but it's not always about quantity. It's about quality and the story behind it. We want sob stories. Think of it like the X Factor. You know, we want sentimental value, and if it's an awesome massive haul as well, there's no reason why that can't go in. But yeah, going forward, maybe you'll be inducted. So let's see next time. Okay, so this section, as you've just seen, is called Collection Catch-Up. Each week, each episode, we are going to be basically going over what we've done this week for our collections, and catching up essentially on where we are, what our plans are, and where we're going with our collections. So without further ado, we'll just dive straight in. Basically, we'll start with me because it's going to be quite brief. I am just starting out a brand new collection for wrestling stuff. I've got, at the moment, I've got rock stuff, got the Ultimate Editions, the Funko Pops, all that kind of stuff, everything rock. I am now going to branch out and I'm going to start an Attitude Era collection, Elites. Probably get the Funko Pops as well. I know you guys don't get the Funkos, but yeah, they're pretty cool. I love the Pops. But yeah, so starting this week, I picked up myself the Rock Top Picks Elite, which is pretty cool. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, guys. It's the same as the 2-pack with Mankind, except it's got a shirt. Is that right or wrong? I think it's right.
It's different, I believe.
The head's different.
Right.
Let's open it. I'm going to crack mine open right now and have a look. So,
do it live, a live unboxing on the first episode. Wow.
Oh, we're not messing around.
Have a
Look, sorry about the noise.
Is it the same? Should I grab the 2-pack one and have a look?
Oh yeah, no, I think it is different heads.
Oh, different head. I'm sure. I think the 2-pack's got a smiling face.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Well,
I think the 2-pack's got a smirking face. Is that not the 2-pack?
Yeah, it's different. He's got the 2-pack's got red trunks, like red decals on the trunks, isn't he?
Yeah, that's right. He's got the SmackDown the elbow pads as well, which I've actually just noticed. I didn't know that. I don't think. Maybe I did. It's cool.
Sorry about the noise, guys. It's not very professional at all. But yeah, he's out of the box. I basically bought this for the shirt. I think the shirt's sick. Should have probably done some reading, finding out when he wore this, but I definitely remember him wearing it.
I haven't seen a lot about this figure. Show us the shirt, Johnny.
Here we go. You'll be buying one after this, but here we go.
Oh yeah. Is it the same head? I think it's the same head.
No, it's different. I'm sure.
No, it's definitely different. Yeah, it's definitely different.
Really cool. I think soft goods just always add something. Really, really like that. Like, I'm really happy with that. It's got the blue decals on the trunks as well.
Oh, Nick's already got one as well. I'm totally left out with this one. I didn't know it had different decals on the trunks as well. Okay, I'm gonna head over to Wrestle HQ then.
See you in 10 minutes then. Shall we stop the recording?
There's a knock at the door.
Okay, yeah. So I've just picked that up. And it's the start of a very, very slippery slope for me, I think. Attitude era stuff. There's a lot of it. There's a lot of cool stuff, and there's a lot of gaps, isn't there, Phil, as well, that I'm probably be knocking on your doors and finding out how I can get customs of different people and all that. So yeah, we'll be documenting that on the show. So yeah, stay tuned if you want to see me waste all of my money and, you know, slowly go through divorce proceedings and all that. It could be quite hilarious for you guys to watch. But yeah, that's me. That's my catch up for this week. I've started. Let the games begin. What about you guys? Who wants to go first?
So yours one, mate.
Go for Sean. Sean, what you picked up this week?
So mine is the Rumble figures. Again, got these from Wrestle HQ. It's a solid set. I'm pleased with it. Obviously, you've got to have the Builder figure. So even if you're not a current day collector, you've got to get the Big E and the Dakota Kai, just to get the Jimmy Hart, which is again is a solid figure. I think it's really good. I love the pink. It really pops on the shelves. And I think displaying with the Hart Foundation always looks good, doesn't it? So, yeah, I'm pleased with this set. Earthquake, not so sure on. Big old boots on there, making them really tall. Again, I know it's been debated in a few of the forums. That's the right height. But for me, I like all my figures to look the same. So it might put him to a more accurate height. But I like him with the shorter boots. I know, Nick, you might disagree with me, but I've put some little custom boots on it, making the same height as all the others. So he's sort of in line. I'm a bit like that, but I think it's a cool set. Yoko again, great figure.
So have you already customized that Earthquake, Sean?
Yeah. So this is he comes with taller boots, which I didn't really notice on the promo, the promo images and everything. So these are actually the same boots that he has on all of his other figures that have just been repainted blue to match. And luckily, it's a good match, so you can't really notice, but. He does come with the taller boots. For me, it just makes him a bit too tall. So, yeah, that's
very interesting. See, this is going to be a massive, massive eye-opener for me, this whole show of seeing how you guys operate with all your customs. I know you're massively into that, and we're gonna go into that very briefly, so I'll not talk too much about it. But, yeah, it's exciting, actually.
Yoko's the same. So, for me, Yoko was too tall, so some mods to the bottom. You've got to be brave to cut up new figures, but... trimmed a few mil off the bottom of his legs as well and repieced him back together. So that puts him in the right sort of height. He was a big unit, but I'm not so sure he was as tall as the figures make out.
Nice. It's a great set, that Rumble set.
I
know you don't necessarily collect the modern day guys. The Dakota Kai is actually a brilliant figure in my opinion. The Big E's smart as well, really cool. I like the attire on there. Obviously, we all love a Builder figure series as well. Just a bit adds a bit of interest. RRP's gone up. A lot of people are a bit not too happy about that, but Yeah, I think it's a solid set. I do. I really like that set. And the fact that we're getting, we're getting a Big E, we're getting a Dakota Kai, but we're also getting an Earthquake and a Yokozuna and a Jimmy Hart Builder figure. I think they're looking after everyone, aren't they, really? There's a Big E in there for, kids or new collectors or people who collect the current roster. But then the fact we've got an Earthquake, it's quite a niche Earthquake as well, isn't it? With the Canadian flag. Yeah, I think it's pretty cool.
I think we basically got them first, didn't we? We're actually a little bit ahead of the US. The US is getting and they're kind of struggling to get. I know everyone's going mad for the Dakota guys out there at the moment.
Yeah, it's crazy. I don't know what goes on with it. It always seems to be the pay-per-view sets. We seem to do well on at retail. We get them quite fast compared to the USA. Don't know why. So Nick, what about you? What's your catch up for this week?
I've got a few bits. Obviously, I got the top picks from you. I'm going to be actually upset you and tell you that the True FX is actually off on this.
Oh, for God's sake. You'll be sending it back.
I'll probably send it back. But yeah, he's pretty cool. But the eyes, he looks like he's a little bit all over his shot, but that's fine.
Just put the shades on and shut your mouth.
Roll and shut your mouth. I'm going to upset Sean and show this. So I've got one of these, but I've actually got two of these. My plan is to, at some point, get the Iron Sheik torso to do the torso swap for him. I did see that someone had done a Brutus torso on that, Sean, so maybe you want to look at that. It looks pretty decent as well, but I know you've probably got your heart set on doing Sheik for that, but I'm going to do an Ultimate convert as well with one of the Ultimate Hogans that I've got, so you can have an
Ultimate. So let me just jump in a second there, Nick. So for those that don't know, the Hogan torso on these figures is really small. It doesn't fit him for that sort of era, and I know why they've done it.
It's the Elite Series 91 as well for everyone that's doesn't know.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah, so it's cool. So it's a small torso, and by the time you get the rubber sort of Hulk shirt that you can sort of rip and you can pose on, they wouldn't have got that on the bigger torsos, I don't think, from a design point of view. So it's a little bit disappointing. If you're going to display it on your shelves with all the gear on and the feather boas and everything, it'll look fine. You won't have to do anything. But if you're like me and obviously Nick, and you want to have a couple of them in different poses or whatever, you're going to have to make some mods, or except that he's suddenly shriveled up into like a little Hulk Hogan with, maybe it's not his 24-inch pythons, maybe it's 18-inch pythons. It's a little bit disappointing, but I can see why they've done it.
It's really odd part choices, yeah. I mean, you kind of think there's the Hall of Fame Hogan that had the decent torso. Why are they not just referring back to what they've used in the past for the same characters? Same goes to Earthquake as well, having those massive boots. I know, like you said, they bring it in line with what they think is accurate. But for collectors who've come to expect certain part choices for figures, when you get duped like that, it's a bit. Yeah, maybe we see it more because we customize, so we've got a bit of a different eye on it. Whereas normal collector would just go, it's Hulk Hogan.
I think that might be a part of it. I mean, for me personally, I would never. When you pointed out, I'm like, actually, yeah, you're probably right. And if you want it nailed on accurate like you guys do, then it would be a big deal. For me, I'm like, it's a cool figure. I wouldn't even notice that the boots are slightly too high. But I love that you guys do. I think that's great. I think that being so passionate and being so like into it really, really adds to your collections. You know that your collection is correct, right? That's the whole point, isn't it?
Accuracy is key.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
So good. The only other thing I've got to show, which is not really WWE related, but we're all about wrestling figures, is the I think it's the Walmart exclusive Sting thing with the dual face paint from the cinematic match with Darby Allin. Now, for me, I didn't really think I was going to get this. I know we spoke about it, Johnny, about if you're going to get these or if they're going to come in, and it was a no-go. But I have had a real soft spot for that match. And I don't know if either of you guys saw it, but I really enjoyed it. And when I saw the figure was coming out, I was like, I need to have that. And I was very fortunate to have a good friend on Instagram who sorted it out for me. So, yeah, really cool piece. Just the face paint's sick because it's a mix.
Yeah, it looks great. I think the scan on that Sting and the unmatched Sting as well, I think they're really good. Jazzwares are knocked out of the park with that figure, I think.
Yeah, it's awesome.
I think, to be fair, as a whole, I remember, Johnny, you'll probably remember a conversation we had a good few months back. In fact, it must have been years now. About when they first started releasing those figures, we were very skeptical of the quality and the appearance of them. And AEW just started up. But I mean, I'm not an AEW fan, and I certainly won't be collecting those figures. But from my point of view, they've definitely ramped it up. I mean, they're knocking on Mattel's door from unique look parts and good paint jobs. I think they're doing a cracking job, actually.
I think so, yeah. I think the packaging's much more creative.
For customizers, it's great because you can hot swap pops without heating them up, right? You can just pop their heads and stuff off, and you can just drop them back together. So it's
nice. I would never even know that because I would be like, I'd be scared to do that. So
I've opened many in the package. Oh, I've broken him in half. Oh no, I haven't. It's fine.
Yeah, I think, like you say, go back to what you're saying there, Sean. I think that AEW figures are smashing it. To be honest, they're getting better and better. They're so creative with their packaging. They're
just reference.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, they just seem to be stepping it up, and you can tell it's the guys that design the Jack stuff. It's very similar in the way that they do, kind of over the top packaging and that, but we love that, don't we? That's what collecting's all about, isn't it?
Yeah, like I say, I'm not an AEW guy in any stretch of imagination. I don't know who half of them even are, but I look at the figures and look at the packaging, and I'm drawn just as a collector. So they're definitely ticking some boxes.
Yeah.
So it must be exciting if you are a collector of them. That must be exciting.
Definitely, yeah. And anyone that's not collecting them will be like, fast forward a couple of years. Oh, I wish I bought them when they were first.
Yeah, I was just about to say, we'll watch this back in 2 years, and I'll have a full array of
that you've paid thousands and thousands for. Yeah, I can see it now. Yeah.
I think the only downside with the AEW figures that I can give at the minute is the number of repeats they're doing. I mean, it's great to have different characters, different attires, and me and Sean will attest to the fact why have you done another custom of this person because you want all of their looks and stuff. But I think when it's different when it's current because obviously these people are still on television. So you're like, oh, it's another Kenny Omega, or oh, it's another set of the Young Bucks. But if you're doing a custom set and you're going, oh, it's another Ultimate Warrior, or oh, it's another Shawn Michaels, it's not really relevant. So it's weird how we have that disconnect as customizers to be like, oh, making another Warrior or another Hogan or whatever. But you wouldn't go out and necessarily buy another set of the Young Bucks, although he says he's doing it anyway. But
yeah, I think it's like you say, but it's just kind of it's time, isn't it? Warrior was around for, well, he wasn't around for that long really, but it's been that long that they've got a lot of stuff they can do with him, and they can repeat it. And people have missed the first one who've just got into collecting, and will get the second one that came out, even though they're similar. There's all of that sort of thing side to it. With AEW, it's like you say, it's like, well, we've only just heard about Darby Allin really. In the mainstream, and now he's got however many figures. Cody's in AEW now, and now he's got all these figures already just of him in AEW. How long's AEW been going now? What, 3 years? Yeah. So I think that's why, but it's definitely getting better. The figures are getting better. The product's getting better. It's exciting time. Cool. Is that us all caught up then for this week's catch-ups?
That's everything for me, mate. Yeah.
Brilliant. Over to Custom Corner. Okay, guys, so welcome to Custom Corner, the section all about custom wrestling figures. Now, I have no idea what I'm talking about here, but I do have two, what I would class as experts in the game, two guys that have been doing it a long time, two guys that I think are really, really, really good at it, and know a lot more than I do. So I'm basically going to just ask you guys some questions, try and figure out what on earth is going on in the custom world, and yeah, we'll just go from there. So, customs then. Why are you guys into customizing wrestling figures? What's it all about? I'll come to you first, Nick, on
that. For me, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that doesn't come out, and there's a lot of prolific characters for me as a kid. I'm sitting here looking at the figures behind me, but I'm actually looking at Sean's figures behind him and immense jealousy about some of the stuff that he's got, purely for the fact that the majority of my childhood sits behind him. And it's more for me, it's kind of the gap filling element of Mattel's, there's going to be stuff they can't make due to licensing, or there's going to be stuff they can't make because of having rights to certain characters or lawsuits and whatnot. And it's kind of like a hark back just to times when, as a kid, certain characters you remembered, or, elements of time of people and where you was at certain points, and having that attachment to those characters. So for me, it was, the reason why I got into it was initially I was paying people to do work for me because I was like, I really like their work. I'll shout out two specific people, one of them being Mac Decals, who's a really good friend of mine, and another guy called Turbo Toys. Both of those guys initially were doing customs for me. Much like you, Johnny, I had no idea. I was like, I don't even know how you take a figure apart, how you paint them. I was like really intrigued by it at the time. And then, just started paying those guys, and then lockdown happened and not much to do. Kind of thought maybe I'll pick up a brush. At that point, I started speaking to Sean and getting inspiration from his collection and seeing what he was doing and thinking, wow, you know, okay, obviously he's got an immense collection, but also then he was also paying guys like Showstopper to do really cool bits, but then doing the odd little bit himself. And I kind of thought, well, until you try and try and do something creative, you never know how good you can be or not be very good. And just kind of got into it in that respect. So yeah, here I am with it.
Yeah, so it's a massive creative process as well, isn't it? So it's what I love about it from the external. So I'm rubbish at kind of, you know, art in terms of like painting, or I can't imagine myself ever being good at customizing. I'd love to be able to, but I don't imagine myself being able to. Maybe I'll give it a try one day, but who knows? But I just love the idea that it combines the hobby of collecting stuff with a talent as well. So it adding an element of, you know, creativity and talent to it. I just find that really intriguing. What about you, Sean? Then, so is it a similar kind of story about how you got into it, or is it a completely different track? Or
yeah, so very similar to Nick. You want to plug those gaps. So my aim when I started collecting these was, I've got to have everybody. And as Nick says, there's a lot of guys that we're just never going to see the light of day of. And I thought there's got to be a way to get these. So there's a couple of different levels to customizing. So there's like what we would class as simple part swaps. So that is literally all, you know, he wore taller boots. And if you're really picky like me, you want the taller boots. So you sort of have to pop the parts off and pop them on. Those bits are really easy. And I think there's a fair few people out there who probably collect figures that probably do that, even swapping so much as elbow pads or soft goods and whatnot to get this sort of more authentic look. So that's one part. There's a simple part to it. But there is the very, very difficult, detailed, creative process, like you say, where you literally have to break apart figures. Now, I know that pains some people out there who hate it, the fact that we literally buy new figures, destroy them and make them into somebody else. But that's unfortunately what it takes. And it is creative. It does take a bit of a challenge to get the right parts because you're quite limited with what Mattel have got. And you obviously have to then repaint it. So as Nick says, it's a journey. You can't just start off painting really, really detailed parts. You do have to go through a process of learning, or pay somebody else to do it. And there are a lot of people out there. There's a much bigger community than I think most people would think. There are a lot of people who do it as a business out there.
Yeah, and I know that's why you guys were passionate about making this part of the show and making it part of this collector cast, because I think the customs world is slightly overlooked in a lot of ways. In terms of this particular hobby, there's a big community of guys that are customizing, people that are brand new at it, people that have been doing it a long, long time, people who are casting heads, people who are doing all sorts of different cool stuff that doesn't really get talked about all that much, other than within their own circles. And what I'd love this show to be able to do is to kind of shed some light on that. I want to get some of you customizers watching. I want to get you on the show. I want you to show off what you've been working on. I want to be able to showcase your work and really make customizing, like, put it at the forefront of collecting, because I think it's damn cool and it's really it's like there's a lot of talent that goes into it. So yeah, I know that you guys are really passionate about making this a part of the show. So yeah, I'm just gonna hand over to you guys. What have you been working on? What's your current status in terms of your customizing and where you at with it all? I know that's a very broad question. I'll go to you, Sean, first. I know you've got a couple of figures there next to you.
Yeah, so this is what I've been working on this week. And bear in mind, I'm really limited now, so you can only see the first 4 shelves behind me here. I do have another 1 or 2 down the bottom that you can't see, and my collection is pretty much extensive. So I think I have at least one of every single guy. So now I'm either on the really bad low gimmicks or the alternative attires. So the 2 I've been working on, one is Jimmy Hart. So obviously it's just a red suit at the moment, but I'm going to go for his Mega Maniacs look with Hogan and Beefcake. So I'm going to have to either have some decals or some paint and have obviously the yellow writing and everything on there. But that's what you would start off as a base figure. And it's nice that Mattel have actually got a red suit out there to start with, because it's creatively painting red all over suits and all over them joins. Would be very, very difficult. Again, Johnny, as a novice, it's probably things you don't think. You're like, it's just a bit of red paint, right?
Yeah. So where's the red suit from then, Sean?
So the trousers are from Classy Freddie Blassie, and the jacket is from John Laurinaitis, I believe.
The builder figure.
That's right, yeah. So again, sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 upwards figures to create one.
Yeah.
And some people might think you're crazy buying a John Laurinaitis and then a Freddie Blassie and then a Build-A-Figure. You know, this is £60 worth of figure.
Yeah, well, it's more than that, really, isn't it? Because that John Laurinaitis, for example, that's a rare figure. It's a Build-A-Figure from a set that was ages ago. I think it was Toys R Us exclusive. And that set was expensive. You got the Freddie Blassie, that's a USA exclusive collector's edition. Like, to get the head you've bought, do you know what I mean? Like, it's not a cheap it's not a cheap way to go about collecting, is it? But I do respect that, like, you know, you've got a red, you're going to have a Maniacs Jimmy Hart at the end of this, which no one else has got, and it's very unlikely they're ever going to make one. So
yeah, so you're absolutely right. It can be very expensive, not only to buy the parts, but obviously if you are paying someone to do it, they have to buy the parts, and then you're paying for their time as well. So it can be quite expensive. You know, I've got customs in there which. Does she listening? There's my wife in here. I think £450 is the most I paid for one custom in the past. Before, generally I would 100, 120, 130 maybe would be sort of the going rate. So it can be quite costly. So the other one I've been working on this week is Make a Difference Rikishi. So again, it's made up of all different parts. I think this is a Otis torso with a Rikishi head modified to take the goatee off. I forget who the legs are. I think they might be Earthquake legs, maybe, with the Fiend Funhouse boots, I think, with Bray Wyatt boots. So again, it's quite a mixture of parts, but it's that creative process. It's getting the right boots with the right size legs, with the right size torso, because he wasn't as fat as Rikishi, so I couldn't just use Rikishi. And also, something I've never done before, so this is the first, I've actually tried to create a soft goods Rikishi jacket. Now that's just using paint pens. But again, that's something I've never tried before. So you've got to keep pushing your limits, but that's going to look really cool when that's on there, I think.
Mate, brilliant, amazing. I mean, I'm lucky enough to I've been and seen your collection in person, and it's got some incredible customs in there. I'm looking forward to the episode where we get to take a deeper dive into that and look at some other stuff. And obviously, you know, there's plenty of time to be doing that. We'll definitely get around to that at some point. But yeah, really, really cool stuff. Nick, how about you? What have you been working on lately?
My bench is always evolving. My problem with the customized element is I get really good ideas and I rush out to buy all the parts, and then while I'm doing that, I get another idea and I rush out and buy all of those parts, and the other idea that I'd started on in the first point is still sitting on the shelf. I've got
sorry, Nick, do you find the same as me, that you rush out to get the parts, you get back home and then you find that you already had the parts? I think I've done that with an actual figure before as well. Oh, the new figure's out. I get home, like, I already had this figure.
Yeah, I had that fun when I was obviously tidying this room around behind me, and I found I've got 3 of the Warrior Royal Rumble yellow attires boxed and about 4 British Bulldogs, which is fine because I'm working on a lot of Bulldogs for another side project, which I'll bring in another episode. But yeah, when you're just going through, you're like, oh, I need another Hogan, and then you go through a drawing, like, oh, I've actually got 5. Like, I don't need another one, but I'll get another one anyway while I'm here because I might need those boots at some point. For me at the minute, I mean, the most recent thing I finished, I've got a lot on the bench, but from a finish standpoint, is this Mega Maniacs Macho Man, which was fairly simple. Me and Sean had a number of discussions about how and why I did this and the other methods I could have done. But for reference, it's 2 different Macho Mans in one. So it's the torso for one figure. I then had to take the different legs, that's why it's a little bit loosey-goosey, legs off of another figure, did a crotch crack on the Hogan, it was a Macho Man crotch piece, and then I had to add the logos off. So this was actually the Mega Maniacs Macho, and it had all the red stuff on it, so I had to acetone all the red off. And then he's obviously got the other legs with the socks and the small knee pads. So great fun. Decal on the back as well with the Mega Powers logo on the back. So as Sean rightly said to me previously, why not just buy a Chase Macho Man and just do it on that, because that would have been easier.
Why not?
I could have done that, and I kind of thought, yeah, but the thing was I got this figure and the other figure for like 12 quid, and I thought if I'm going to do it, I'd kind of challenge myself a little bit. And obviously there's elements of, you kind of feel to yourself, yeah, I could just acetone some stars off some pants, and I've got some yellow pants, but taking off the red and doing all of that and actually putting 2 figures together to make one was quite rewarding. And it's just one of those figures that for me, like, SummerSlam '88, I've got fond memories of that time when they were together and that whole feud, and again, I'm just a bit perplexed as to why they haven't released this figure. You know, the Macho Man would probably sell pretty well. It might be one that people would want. I'm just miffed. I may change the head. I'm not 100% sold on the head. But from a base standpoint, he's done. My next one I really want to work on is Grandmaster Sexay, only because we had Scotty. This is a R-Truth lowers with an Austin torso, and this is a 3D printed head from a guy called Alex, who's Headeration. You may see him on Instagram. Really good guy. The lightness on this is absolutely fantastic. I'll bring him to the camera so you can see he's done an amazing job. Obviously, when he's all painted up and stuff, it would be good. Some advice I would ask for you, Sean, actually, while you're here, would you recommend, do you think I should acetone these designs off and leave the jeans as they are, or should I just paint the whole lot?
Oh, I'd probably acetone them. Otherwise, you're going to have to get in all the joins. But again, it's about challenging yourself. There's normally a couple of ways to face these things. Go for whichever one pushes yourself, I would say, Nick.
Definitely. And I think what I would also do as well is get like a 1/6 scale white vest, but soft goods. So I can actually take that on and off. Obviously,
it depends what you want to do. If you want the soft goods, that's great. But if you want the rubber one, what's the name of the guy from it's John, the guy who passed away recently. He was with Bray Wyatt and
Harper.
Yeah, Harper, that's the one. He had a white vest on one of his elites. So that's a great fit for that as well. That's what mine wears.
So interesting. Honestly, I find it fascinating. I'm hoping that people watching will as well. Sean's up and gone. He's going to show us something else. We've set him off now.
We'll grab another thing as well. I'll be back.
Go on then.
Yeah. Sorry to go rogue, but yeah.
No, that's good.
Yeah, so you can get a nice white vest version of Grandmaster Sexay as well. That's a Jack's classic head, and it's a bit too big, like Nick said.
Show us a bit closer, Sean. Can you bring it a bit closer so we can have a little bit more of a look?
Yeah, sorry. So the head is a little bit big. It's a cool fitting vest.
That vest does look
in the back there, actually.
Vessel.
Yeah, it's cool. It's just a slightly too big of a head, really.
I can feel money falling out of my bank account as I'm seeing you guys with this. I'm thinking Attitude Era collection. I'm going to need that. I'm going to need a Grandmaster Sexay. I'm going to need. Man, this is going to be.
That's what surprises me about collectors. I'd be interested to know. You know, we want to get people commenting. How many people get frustrated that they're never going to see this figure, or are they just more accepting than us? Are they cool with the fact that they'll just collect Mattel? Or are they actually wanting these guys to fill their collection? Is it just us? Is there more of us out there?
Yeah, well, the thing is, I think I've got a feeling that we might end up being responsible for some other people going down this route, and that's kind of what we want to do. We want to open people's eyes to the custom world, including my own. So that's cool. But already seeing your guys with those, I'm like, I can already feel myself. I'm going to end up buying. I can't see myself being able to make them. I'd like to think that maybe one day I'd have a go, but I'll definitely be buying some. I can feel it already. But yeah, it's so cool. So the next part of this section, Custom Corner, we're going to be basically using this to showcase some of your guys' work that are watching. So if you're in the group, the Collect the Cast group, each week there will be there will be a collector cast post, and you can comment on that with any recent work you've been doing, anything you found that's cool, and we will pick some of them, not necessarily the best ones, like we can't go through everyone, but we'll pick some of them at random and show them on here, so you get a platform to kind of show them off. If you've got an Instagram or anything, or your own figure page, we can promote that for you as well, no problem at all. So I know, Sean, you've been busy looking, haven't you, a few bits and bobs that you thought might be cool to show off?
Yeah, I'm going to start off with my main man, Showstopper Customs. So this is a gentleman called Joey, based in the Philippines, and his work is absolutely amazing. I mean, he was one of the first guys that really sort of got me into the custom game. He's very collaborative. He's quite happy to work on anything. He talks to you about parts, the sort of look you want. You get to sort of really collaborate with him with what you're looking for, and he does some great work. So the one I want to show off this week is Chronic. I know I said before WCW isn't really my forte, and I know these guys did have one match in WWE, but it was so they'll probably end up on my shelves at some point. But he's really nailed the look here. I think he's using Tom Veg Warsman printed heads from the looks of things, which to you again, Johnny, probably doesn't mean anything, but out there in the custom world, they're well-known names. But he's done a great job of nailing the look here. Great part choices, great use of decals and hand painting, and he's just nailed the look. I think they look fantastic.
Nice, very, very cool. Yeah, did Nick, did you have anything you wanted to show in this part, or?
I don't think I did. I think
Yeah, so the one that I wanted to show was submitted in our group. Let me just make sure I'm getting this right before I dive in. But it was it's this retro style Hollywood Hulk Hogan from Ev's Customs on Instagram. So it's EVZ_customs. Yeah, check that out. It looks really cool. I'm a sucker for the retro stuff. I know, again, you guys, I don't, Nick, have you got the retros? Yeah, you got all the retros, haven't you? Yeah. Sean, you're not so bothered, are you?
No, I need to fill these shelves first, and then I'll start.
Yeah, you'll get there. You'll get there. But yeah, I thought this custom was really cool. Like the photography on it as well. Yeah, well done. Yeah, go check that. Go check that Instagram page out. Very, very cool. And again, if you've got any work that you want to submit and get shown on the show, comment on the latest post for the custom corner in the group. Go join the Facebook group if you're not in there already, and yeah, we'll try and get some of you guys on. It'd be cool to get some customizers on as well. I know we mentioned Mac decals. If we could get him on the show and he could show some of his stuff, I know he's got some pretty incredible custom work as well. That would be a very, very cool thing to be able to show off on here. So maybe we could do an interview with him. But yeah, so there you go. That's the first custom corner. Hopefully many more to come. Okay, here we are on the road to WrestleMania. It's episode 1 of the Collector Cast, and we thought we would start, seeing as though WrestleMania is slowly creeping up on us. We'd kick off with the road to WrestleMania, and we would, talk about some of the WrestleMania series figures from all different lines, all different makers. Basically, what we've done is we've set ourselves a bit of a challenge between us. We're going to choose our favorite WrestleMania figures and our least favorite or the worst WrestleMania figures, one of each in each episode leading up to WrestleMania. And to add a bit of a spice to the occasion, we've decided between us, well, I've kind of decided, and these two have kind of not so willingly agreed, that basically the loser, the loser from the series is going to lose 2 figures from their collection. So basically, if throughout the series, there will be a vote in the Collector Cast group for every figure that we select as the best WrestleMania figure and every figure that we select as the worst WrestleMania figure. The scores will accumulate throughout the series, and whoever finishes bottom, the other 2 guys get to choose one figure from their collection to keep. Look at those 2 guys. They're looking at me thinking, yeah, you don't freaking have any. So how is that fair? Well,
you've got a stock room back there, though.
I've got a stock room. Yeah, I've got a lot of stuff. So yeah, we'll just go for it like that. So I've already got my eye on a couple of things that we've already discussed. The Grandmaster Sex here. I'm thinking maybe I'll take that with me. But yeah, so there's a lot riding on this now. So yeah, Road to WrestleMania, we're going to be discussing the WrestleMania series figures. There is a hell of a lot. When we first said that this is what we'll do, like, yeah, that'll be cool. And then looking deeper into it, wow, how many WrestleMania figure series has there been? It's crazy. From Jack's Mattel stuff, it's just heaps and heaps. So we've picked out what we think are the best and what we think are the worst from what we could find. Love to know your opinions as well in the groups. So once this episode's released, you can post what you think as well and vote on ours. So let's kick it off. Shall I start?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay, we'll start with the good ones then. So my good WrestleMania figure is the WrestleMania 35 series Triple H. I know you've got it next to you there, Sean. I did ask you to get it out already. And Nick's got it as well. I just think that's a great figure. I love that it's got the purple trunks, the pink trunks. Debatable, Sean. Sorry, mate. Yeah, but yeah, I think it's such a great figure. Comes with a water bottle as well, which I like. I just think yeah, I just really, really like the figure. I like the box as well. It comes in the black packaging. Obviously, we've got a picture up. We'll put a picture up of it as well, so you guys can see which one I'm talking about. But yeah, that's my good one.
Did you know for that series that Smiths actually had a life-size WrestleMania 36 Elite box that you could stand and have your photo taken in?
Yeah, I remember seeing that. I remember seeing pictures of that. Yeah.
I never did it, unfortunately. I should have.
No.
I saw some photos of people in the groups doing it. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was that series. I remember that. I need one. I need one of those for in here. I wonder if they've still got it in the back of one of the Smiths.
We'll be a custom one. It's all right.
Yeah.
It's a solid choice. It's a cool figure. It's a solid choice. It's different as well, isn't it? Triple H in purple was different.
Well, that's why I picked it, because it's not like, how many Triple H figures is there? I mean, it's not like, wow, he's picked something really unique, a Triple H figure. I just think that this one, you've got the Fan Central one where he's in red, and then we've got the later one, is it the 86, where he's in the long tights. But apart from those, and this was the first out of those as well, I think. Was it before this Fan Central? I can't remember now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it was before the red.
Yeah, so this one just really kind of pops. Yeah, I really like it. So I'm going for that one. Obviously, it'll be put to a vote in the group. So that's my cards on the table. What about Sean? What's your good one?
I'm going old school. I'm going back to Jack specific, and I'm going to the Titan TTL, as it's known, Titantron Live. So if anyone that doesn't remember, they had these little metal things on the feet, and you used to pass them over this entrance stage, and it would play the music. They were great. What a great idea! Just didn't take off. But I think Jack's were really nailing it with Titantron Live, and I've picked Rikishi here. Now I think I might be wrong, but I think this was the first time we'd seen a variant packaging. So with Rikishi, you've got the front facing, and then you've got the backward facing. Now, why on earth anybody thought it would be a good idea to want to see is Rikishi's big old backside sticking out? I don't know whether they thought some kids were going to find that appealing or what. I don't know, but it was good. It's a great likeness. It's really unique parts. Obviously, you've got to go out for Rikishi. It's got the soft goods. He's got the
WrestleMania 17 one you're on about, isn't it?
Yes, yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
And you'll notice on the packaging there as well, it's got the 3D glasses as well. They were going all out.
Yeah, it was so cool. That's the thing with Jackson. We talked about it earlier, didn't we, about AEW? They just go over the top with the packaging, and it's great. I love it.
Yeah, I loved it. So the theory was you would put them glasses on, and the little Rikishi logo that you see in the corner, the little round one within there, you put them on and he looks 3D. So that just adds value to it. So it's got it all. It's got the soft goods. It's got unique parts. It's a great figure. That's definitely up there with one of my favorites.
Yeah, I remember getting that at the time actually, and thinking like, whoa, it actually really looks like the guy it's meant to look like, which at the time wasn't a given, was it? It wasn't. They weren't always amazing at all. So yeah, it's very, very hard to argue that is a fantastic WrestleMania figure.
Yeah, it was one of the first, I think, to use the real scan. I think Jack Sidoni just launched it relatively recent, and they were really knocking out the park. I mean, it was sort of revolutionary if you think from the bone crunching days when you had them sort of weird expressions to something like that. These were the first really cool looking figures for me.
Yeah, good shout. Well done, mate. Nice. Okay. Nick?
So I've obviously read the rules, and where there was some small print that I didn't divulge into.
Oh, he's gone a loophole. Have you loopholed us?
WrestleMania being on the packaging, but there is a loophole where the fact that this figure is actually labelled as a WrestleMania 12 figure. And my choice is the ringside collectible exclusive WrestleMania 12 Ultimate Warrior. Because it's an absolutely phenomenal figure.
It is. I mean,
maybe doesn't follow the rules conventionally, but it does base off a WrestleMania appearance. But yeah, I think we can all say we're all Warrior fans, and they really did go all out with this. I know we spoke earlier about how the soft goods were a bit cheap, but they did on this figure do a really good deal with this. So obviously he's got all of his soft goods jacket, and just the attention to detail on the attire and stuff is phenomenal. It's got all the tassels and stuff as well. Cool difference on the hair. I'm not 100% on the actual scan of the head they used for this mold, whether they could have used one of the other Warrior molds to do that. But from an all standpoint, when I saw the box, and I think the box version, you've had them in stock, John, they're really, really nice as well.
Yeah, I've got loads of them in stock. I've got a restock of those as well. So if anyone's looking to pick one up, go and get them. I've also got protectors as well for anyone that's an inbox collector. Like you mentioned, the box there for that figure is brilliant. I've got custom made ringside boxes that fit those figures perfectly. Look so much better in the protectors as well. If you're going to,
it is amazing, but you'll be very disappointed if you're expecting to find a WrestleMania logo on that box. So Nick has totally loopholed us there. This was the road to WrestleMania.
It's a WrestleMania 12 figure labeled as, so I'm still in.
It's sold. It's sold as a WrestleMania 12 figure, but is it on the package? Look, we're going to put it in the group for a vote. I'll let you guys decide whether or not Nick gets a pass on this, or whether it's a total rule break. But we'll see which of those three. So what was it? We've got the Triple H WrestleMania 35. We've got the Rikishi WrestleMania 17 TTL, and we've got the Ultimate Warrior, in brackets, WrestleMania 12 ringside exclusive figure. That's quite a tight out. I mean, it's quite tight, isn't it? It's going to be a tough call. All right, so moving on then to the worst WrestleMania figures. Again, so there's a point available for this. So there's a point available for the best ones, a point available for the worst ones. Yeah, should we start with Nick for the worst ones then? Seeing as though we
so I stuck with Mattel for this round as well. For me, seeing the protos of this actual match, I was really, really intrigued to see how the figure would come out. And looking at it now, I'm still really angry at looking at the state of it. For me, it's the WrestleMania Street Fight match Edge against, I think it was against Mick Foley. There's some really cool part choices here, and the jacket's bespoke and stuff. The baseball bat is very questionable. But the head scan on this is absolutely horrendous. I was really disappointed when I got it in hand and saw the proto pictures. It's just awful. Like, it doesn't look like Edge. There's a couple other things wrong with it, where I think his hands, some of the hands are different, and he doesn't have any chest hair as well, which he did in that match. And that really irks me as well. So just to stay on topic, I actually did do a fix up. So I've got another one here, and I put the basic Edge head, which again, it's not perfect, but it's a darn sight better. And he's got a Sami Zayn or a Tully Blanchard torso with the chest hair. So he's a bit closer, looks a bit more like the match. I was, upon reflection, thinking I probably should have put the Edge head on it, because that's probably the best Edge of that era. But yeah, that's for sale if anyone wants it, by the way. I don't need to tattoo it.
Where can we contact you for that, Nick? Where can they get in touch if they want to buy that? Clarky Collector Instagram, right?
That's the one, mate. That is the one. But yeah, it's a cool figure. Don't get me wrong. Like, again, I think looking at it from a customizer standpoint, it's probably Sean would. There's a great Austin torso there that you could use. You could probably use these legs for something else. There's bound to be someone who could have used those legs. The jacket, maybe. But yeah, just the head scan just killed it for me.
It's quite infamous, isn't it, for being Test. Looking like Test. I think I see on a lot of the forums, everyone says it looks more like Test than Edge. And I think you're right about the hands. I think it came with the wrong type of hands. I think it came with the Too Sweet hands rather than the Edge hands, I think. Right. So I think they even got that wrong. I think they did a run and change to fix it, maybe.
I think that was the 83. I think that might have been the Elite 83, actually, now you said that.
I think it was actually. I think they
could have been.
Did they do it with both? I might be wrong. I've been wrong before. I'm trying to fight Nick's corner here to get him the worst point. I shouldn't be, really, should I?
No, we don't want him to get the points. I want
I love that Edge figure. That's a great.
Thing is, I don't know whose figures I want, so I don't know who I want to lose. I need to stitch one of you up, but I don't know which.
I'm going to move over this way so you can't see the attitude of your shells behind me, because that's right where they are. So some of them might get buried in the garden for safety.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough to argue with. I mean, that Edge figure it's shambolic, really, isn't it? To be honest. I'll go next then. Sticking with Edge, I've gone for the WrestleMania 2000 Jax TTL. Jax was so. This is the thing with Jax, that the series was like so wordy all the time. So this is WrestleMania 2000 Titantron Live SmackDown Series 2. So it's WrestleMania 2000 SmackDown Series 2. Yeah, it's on the screen. I mean, can you really argue with that? I don't know if you guys see that?
Yeah.
I mean,
I've got that.
Jeez. If you've got the scan on the, I mean, give them the due. This was way before, Mattel. But if you thought the scan was bad on that WrestleMania, I mean, look at that.
That's great.
Right.
It's shocking. On the box as well, he's got the shades on. If he had a pair of shades on the figure, it might improve it slightly. Yeah, I mean, it's just bad. Look how ripped he is as well. Edge was never had a body like that in his life. Yeah, he looks like, I don't even know. I mean, his hair's bright yellow. It's awful. The only good thing I would say about it is the hockey stick that comes with. That looks pretty
the
cool.
Hockey stick.
Yeah. Pretty
You've got to
decent.
remember. You do have to remember here that we'd come from the Hasbros, which were the little small cartoony, limited articulation. I remember when these first came out, I remember thinking, wow, well, you know, the bigger, you've got more articulation, the look, there's more detail to them. They're starting to come with entrance clothes on, they come with accessories. And yeah, I think it was an improvement, but we're just spoiled by today's standards, aren't we? But it's a bad figure.
It looks nothing. It doesn't look anything like Edge. I mean, it's shocking. I'm happy with my choice, so I'm going to go with that. But there you go. It's going to go to a vote as well. So
maybe that's just Edge. Have we had any good Edge heads?
I think that's a very, very good point. There's a few figures that are like that, and we'll probably go into it in a different episode. But in terms of likeness, I don't think they've ever really nailed Edge.
The newest one, probably the best one, Old Edge, and newest Elite was probably the best Edge we've had, but it represents him now, doesn't it? It's very
the 83 or the Ultimate Edition's not so bad. It's not great, but the
83 was
they've never quite got it right, have they? One day, let's hope.
One day.
Sean, what's your bad WrestleMania figure?
Okay, so I have definitely picked the best one, the best worst one for this week. So it's actually the same series, I think. It's WrestleMania, isn't it? So again, it's the worst.
Oh, it's the WrestleMania 2000 SmackDown Series 2. Yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's the one. So I've gone for Triple H, which I think you should see on the screen now. So again, I mean, that could be Edge, couldn't it? Could that be Edge? Have to swap the heads? Is that Edge? I don't know.
Oh dear me! I mean,
it's certainly not Triple H, but again, from a figure point of view, there's no wrist tape, there's no elbow pads, there's no knee pads. Again, the best redeeming feature is the accessory. You've got a breakaway table, but I mean, I couldn't care that they used to be quite good with the knee pads and the elbow pads. They used to be quite accurate, but they've just missed it all out. It's almost like Triple H is going sunbathing, isn't it? Like he's just in his little trunk.
It's not. It's like someone else is going sunbathing.
It's not Triple H.
That's not Triple H. It's like someone's going sunbathing.
There was a dinner nanny at my junior school that looked like this. It's a horrific sculpt, and like you say, the hair color they haven't got that right. It's a bad figure. It was probably good for the time, but looking back, that's a terrible figure.
Yeah, that's a shocker. I mean, it's all three of them are bad. You know, you guys are gonna have to vote on this in the group. Let us know. Obviously, if you vote for mine, I'll be very appreciative, so I can win some figures from these guys. But yeah, it's going to be it should be fun. I'm just looking behind you now. That's all I can think about is which ones I'm going to take from you. Yeah, it should be fun. Speaking about you just mentioned dinner nannies before, and this is totally off topic, but is it me or did every single school in the UK have a dinner nanny that looked exactly like Greg the Hammer Valentine?
Yeah.
Every school
put you on the wall when you were misbehaved.
Yeah, every single school had Greg the Hammer Valentine as a dinner nanny.
Yeah. Maybe
that's what they go for. Maybe that's
like
in the interview process. They're like, yeah, she's great with kids. Yeah, she's good at ringing the bell, but she doesn't look like Greg the Hammer Valentine, so can't have the job. Anyway, I digress. So yeah, guys, go into the group and vote on the figures and vote on which one you think is the best and which one you think is the worst. Out of that, you can comment what your own submissions as well. We're going to be doing it again next week, the same in the Road to WrestleMania. We'll be picking more WrestleMania figures as well, and continuing this up to WrestleMania until we finally have a winner at the end of the series. And one of us will be losing 2 figures from our collection. Man, I'm excited because I want to win, but I'm probably going to lose. So there you go. That's the first episode of the Collected Cast. I hope you've enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Go and follow Nick and Sean on your Instagram. Sean, what's your Instagram handle?
My Instagram handle is good question. It's all figured out, but it's all _figured_out.
There you go.
So it's almost as bad as a Jack's 90s figure line. But yeah, it's all figured _out. yeah, so I'd appreciate the follows. Thanks.
Yeah, and Nick is at Clarky Collector as well. Obviously Wrestle HQ, come follow us at Wrestle HQ, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Superpowertoys.co.uk or WrestleHQ.com for all your figures. Yeah, thank you for watching, and we will see you all next time.